When emotions run high, facts often get lost. But one interview has sparked a heated debate across Africa because of how directly it challenged popular opinions. Nigerian lawyer Barrister Darlington argued that targeting South African businesses in Nigeria would be illegal, defended the rule of law, criticized Nigeria's leadership, and even said that if he were South African, he would not allow Nigerians to enter and create the same problems they left behind. His comments have divided opinion, with some praising his honesty and others strongly disagreeing. In this video, let's carefully examine what he actually said, the legal arguments behind it, and where people may see strengths and weaknesses in his reasoning. But before we break it down, let's listen to what he had to say.
This idea of attacking South African business in Nigeria, it will not work because of the legal issues that will arise. If you try it, they will take you to international arbitration and you will pay through your nose because the businesses that belong to South Africa that are in Nigeria, they did not violate our laws. They did not go contrary to any known law. So on what ground will you say you are attacking their business? For what? It's an immigration issue. The principle of reciprocity is allowed. If you feel there are illegal immigrants in Nigeria, deport them to South Africa now. Deport them to South Africa. And so you don't attach such sentiment. You don't, seriously. When we said Ghana must go here, did we not deal with them in such a manner? Did we not? You mean those days that we were in Ghana, they didn't have any business, whether small or big. Did you repatriate any of their businesses and all that? And so such things can never, in fact, you don't even need to say it because it is not legal. It is not legal. They will only do it on moral grounds. And that is if there had not been any change of ownership between Nigerians and some South African businessmen. If you have done a deal with somebody to take over your business and he gave you money, so why would you now say that they should not compensate you again on the same business that you have already sold out to somebody? It's not possible. It is not possible. So the Nigerian government, instead of all these things that they are talking, repair your home so that your youth cannot be going outside looking for succor. After all, I cannot sit down here and tell you that all African states are in South Africa. There are some African countries that are not in South Africa. It's on record. Some African countries, you can't find any of their youth in South Africa. So why must it be Nigeria? Wherever they are causing problem and all, Nigerians will be larger in number. Go to India. I was watching, listening to our own Rufai yesterday, where he was showing what is going on in India. Of the 400 people that are in deportation camp in India, over 300 of them are Nigerians. Can you imagine? 300 of them are Nigerians, and they are treated like dogs. The place they are saying even a pig cannot be reared there. A pig. These are Nigerians. So why is this so? Do we have any IDP camp here for Indians? Do we have any? Is there any IDP camp here? Or refugee camp for foreigners in Nigeria? Do we have? It is always Nigerians. And that is not even shameful enough for the government. That your youth are all over the world, running away because of the toxic environment you have created. How many of those youth are in Nigeria? How many? From other countries? How many of them? You are blaming South Africa. So you want to come and spoil their own country the same way you spoiled your own, Abi. If I'm South African, I will not allow you. You go back to your country. I will not allow you. Seriously, you must go and repair your country. After all, you are number one economy just yesterday. Why did you lose that position?
Barrister Darlington began by addressing calls for South African businesses operating in Nigeria to be attacked or shut down in retaliation for tensions surrounding Nigerians living in South Africa. According to him, this approach would not only be wrong but also illegal. His argument was straightforward. He said South African companies operating in Nigeria are doing business under Nigerian law. They are registered businesses, they pay taxes where required, employ Nigerians, and operate within the country's legal framework. If the Nigerian government or private citizens were to target those businesses simply because of immigration disputes happening in another country, he argued that it could expose Nigeria to international legal consequences. He pointed out that companies and investors often enjoy protections under international investment agreements. If their investments are unlawfully seized or destroyed, governments can face expensive legal battles and arbitration claims. His position was that business disputes should not be mixed with immigration disputes. Instead, he argued that if Nigeria believes there are South Africans living illegally in Nigeria, then the legal response should be to identify those individuals and deport them according to Nigerian immigration law. He referred to this as the principle of reciprocity, suggesting that immigration matters should be handled through immigration laws rather than by attacking businesses. Barrister Darlington also brought up history. He referred to the famous Ghana must-go period, when large numbers of Ghanaians were expelled from Nigeria in the early 1980s. His point was that while people were deported, their businesses were not simply confiscated because they belonged to foreigners. He used this example to argue that immigration enforcement and business ownership have traditionally been treated as separate issues. He went further by saying that many South African businesses may no longer even be owned entirely by South Africans. Over the years, ownership structures can change through partnerships, investments, or share sales involving Nigerian investors. According to him, trying to punish businesses today could also unfairly hurt Nigerians who now have ownership interests in those companies. This is one of the stronger legal points in his interview. In modern economies, businesses often have investors from several countries. Ownership is rarely as simple as one nationality owning an entire company. But perhaps the most emotional part of the interview came when he turned his attention away from South Africa and toward Nigeria itself. He argued that Nigeria's biggest problem is not South Africa but the conditions inside Nigeria that push so many young people to leave in search of opportunities elsewhere. Rather than blaming foreign countries, he said Nigerian leaders should focus on fixing unemployment, insecurity, and the economic challenges that encourage migration. He questioned why Nigerians seem to appear in large numbers in migration disputes across different parts of the world. He even referred to reports he had watched concerning Nigerians being held in deportation facilities in India under poor conditions. His argument was that these situations should serve as a wake-up call for Nigerian leaders to improve conditions at home instead of directing anger toward other countries. This part of his interview shifts the discussion from immigration enforcement to governance. His message was essentially that reducing migration pressures begins with creating opportunities inside one's own country. One statement that has generated especially strong reactions was when he said that if he were South African, he would not allow Nigerians to come and create the same problems they left behind. Supporters see this as an honest acknowledgement that every country has the right to enforce its immigration laws and protect its own interests. Critics, however, argue that this statement risks unfairly generalizing millions of Nigerians based on the actions of a minority. Nigeria has many citizens who work legally, obey the law, contribute positively to the countries where they live, and have built successful businesses around the world. This highlights an important distinction that often gets lost in public debates. Governments have the right to address illegal immigration and criminal activity. At the same time, legal migrants and innocent individuals should not automatically be judged because of the actions of others who share their nationality. Another point worth considering is his legal emphasis. Throughout the interview, Barrister Darlington consistently argued that responses should remain within the law. Whether discussing deportations, business ownership, or international investment, his central message was that emotional reactions should not replace legal processes. Regardless of whether viewers agree with every conclusion he reached, the interview raises important questions that many African countries continue to face. How should governments balance border security with economic cooperation? How should countries distinguish between illegal immigration and lawful business investment? And perhaps most importantly, How can African governments create enough opportunities at home so that migration becomes a choice rather than a necessity? These are difficult questions with no easy answers. Barrister Darlington's interview has certainly added another perspective to an already sensitive debate. Some will agree with his legal arguments. Others will challenge his broader conclusions about migration and responsibility. But the discussion itself highlights how complex these issues really are. In the end, immigration, investment, and national development are deeply connected. Solving one problem without addressing the others is unlikely to produce lasting results. Whether discussing South Africa, Nigeria, or any other country, lasting solutions will require respect for the law, responsible leadership, economic opportunity, and balanced public debate rather than decisions driven purely by emotion.